My greetings, welcome back again. Today's mini grammar tutorial is our last tutorial on tenses. And in this tutorial, we're going to discuss the differences between the two tenses, the future perfect and the future perfect continuous. The future perfect continuous is not that common in English, although it's a good tense if you really understand how to use it. Now, the future perfect continuous, will plus have and only have plus been verb ing, and the future perfect, will plus have and only have plus verb 3 past participle. Let's start with the verb, like the future perfect continuous. Now assume that you started work at 9 and the time right now is going to be 9. Okay? So again, what are you actually trying to say here? By 5:30 in the afternoon, assume that you're going to start something. It could be like you're traveling to somewhere and it's a bit far, and you started by 9 and you're going to be there at the place you are traveling to by 5:30 in the afternoon. So you'll have been doing something for how many hours? 8 hours and a half by 5:30. Let's take an example. Okay? It's so easy, by the way. All that you have to do is to think of a certain time in the future and relate that time in the future to another time in the past. Like what? If you say by next April 2021, we are in December 2020. So let's say that someone asks you, how long have you been working in this office? I've heard that you are going to retire, you're going to quit your job. So he tells them, yes, because by next April, when next April comes, that is like assumingly 4 months from now, I will have been working in the same office for 30 years. I've started working in this office 30 years ago. Going back in time 30 years ago and remembering another few months from now, you will have been working in the same office for 30 years. Another example. Let's say that the manager wants to meet with you and he asked you to work on the final reports, and you say the following: I will have been working on the final reports for 5 hours, okay, by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So again, I'm going to ask you a very simple question. What time is it right now? What time is it right now? By 2 o'clock. So it should be 9. It's still 9 in the morning, and you have projected yourself to the future. And you start thinking, how long would it take me to finish this? Not less than 5 hours. So you tell your manager, by the time you want to you decide to meet with me, I will have been working on the final reports for 5 hours. So don't call me before that time. Don't call me before that time. Okay? Now, more examples. I will have been waiting for my friends for 45 minutes by 9:30. So what time is it right now? It's 8:45 in the morning or in the evening. And you thought that when you come to the cafeteria, cafe, whatever, your friends will be there waiting for you, but they had got stuck in a traffic jam. You called them, you asked them, where are you? So they said, we still need 45 minutes to be in the cafe. So you say this: I will have been waiting for my friends for 45 minutes by 9:30. Now again, I will have been working on the computer for 7 hours without stopping by the time it is to leave the company. So now what time is it right now? You're going to work for 7 hours. Let's say that you leave at 5. So what time is it right now? It's 10 o'clock in the morning. So you projected yourself to 5 o'clock in the afternoon and you said this. Now the engineers will have been working on computing the data of the annual reports for 8 hours by 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So they have some certain data to compute. And they said to themselves, no, we need 8 hours at least because they have tried this before. This is not the first time they do it. So they said, we're going to need this much time until 5 o'clock to finish for 8 hours. So what time is it right now? It's 9 o'clock in the morning. They projected themselves to 5 o'clock in the afternoon and they said this. By April 2021, I will have been living in this house for 20 years. I started living in this house in 2001, in April 2001, And someone is asking me, how long have you been living in this house? That's my answer. By April 2021, I will have been living in this house for 20 years. When Ali finishes grade 12, now Ali is 11th or 10th, and his father or mother is saying this. He will have been studying in this school for 12 years. So they projected themselves and their kid Ali to 2 years from now. He's still in 10th. And they said, when he finishes grade 12, he will have been studying in the school for 12 years. Now next year in June, enough with April, June, okay, my father will have been working in the same office for 25 years. Again, he goes back in time, 25 years, and he remembers when his dad started working in this company, and he's saying this to his friends. Imagine that it's been 25 years. It's going to be 25 years in next June 2021, hopefully. When you come at 8, or by the time you come at 8, okay, it could be the same. When you come at 8, Ali will have been sleeping for 6 hours. So Ali started sleeping at 2, and we know that he's not going to wake up until 6 hours from now. That's what he said. So he set the alarm at 6 o'clock, okay, or at 8 o'clock actually. Sorry. So he will have been sleeping for 6 hours. By 6 o'clock, I will have been waiting for 1 hour. What time is it right now? It's 5 o'clock. Again, the same concept. You waited for your friends, and you waited, but they didn't show up. So you called them, where are you? We got stuck. We need at least 1 hour. It's 5 o'clock right now. We'll be at the cafeteria, at the cafe at 6. When I turn 50, now the guy who says that is 29 years old. He started coaching basketball, and he knows that he's going to keep coaching basketball until he becomes 50 years old. So when I turn 50, I will have been coaching basketball for 21 years. Now what about the future perfect? If you remember, we discussed this in a previous tutorial, but it's easy. Again, we project ourselves, but we're going to start with the following sentence. The match starts at 7, ends at 9. So now, again, let's say that someone is planning to come and visit me, and he knows how much I'm addicted to watching football. So I told him, don't ever think about coming between 7 and 9. I'll be watching my game. So you could come by 9:30. So by 9:30, the match will happen. Got it? Easy. Okay, so projected yourself to the future. It could be like 10 o'clock right now in the morning, and your friend told you, I'm coming over to visit you. Okay, the same guy wants to come and visit, but this time it's different. You like to have lunch or dinner actually, between 6 and 6:30. And you don't like anyone to come during this time. But he wants to come anyway, so you tell him, okay, you may come by 7, because by 7, I will have finished eating dinner. What about the maid? She started cleaning the house at 5, and the guests are expected to come at 7:30, so she will have cleaned the whole house by the time the guests arrive. Now, Ali will not have arrived by the time the meeting is over. He's stuck in the traffic jam. Again, he went out at 4, and the meeting should start at 5. He's not going to make it. He got stuck. He will not have arrived. The last one, by this time, next week, let's say on Monday, I will have worked on this project for 10 continuous days. You started thinking about when you started working and thought, how long would it take you to finish? Now what we have to choose is between the future perfect continuous or future perfect. I'm not saying that it's so easy, by the way, but there should be some clues within the same sentences. Now let's start with at 10:30 tomorrow morning. We will have been working on our new project for 12 hours. It's a duration. Ali and Ahmed will have been talking for over an hour by the time Muhammad arrives home. Again, it's another duration. By 4:30 in the afternoon, now this is not a duration, it's a completion. Put this in mind. It's a completed, projected action. We will have completed the project. By July 2025, again, this is not a projected time, but a duration. So because by 2025, we will have been living in this house for 20 years. Again, duration, as you can see. Next week on Saturday, we will have traveled to Turkey. That's not a duration. So it should be, as you can see, future perfect. By next Friday, that is 10 days from now, we will have come back from Turkey. Again, this is not a duration. He will have been writing the story of his life for 4 years by the end of this month. Duration. Finally, Salim in that old school for more than 30 years. Duration. So will have been teaching by the time he retires from work. So let's just sum up what we have just said. The future perfect continuous means what? Let me see if I can do this right now. Okay, now let's do it together. Now, future perfect continuous has to have something called duration. Okay? While future perfect has to do with something called completion of the verb. So again, whenever you think about duration, always use and the future perfect continuous. But if you think about a completed action at a certain time in the future, that's the future perfect. Thank you very much for being with me today. Thank you very much.